Hello, brothers and sisters in Christ. Sending blessings and love to you all today. My name is Jermaine, and today we'll be continuing in the book of Psalms. Psalms chapter 20 is a prayer. It's a psalm of prayer for victory attributed to David and serves as a poignant reminder of the reliance on God in times of trouble. Let us begin. May the Lord answer you in the day of trouble. May the name of God of Jacob protect you. May he send you help from the sanctuary and give you support from Zion. May he remember all your offerings and regards with favor your burnt sacrifices. May he grant you your heart's desires and fulfill all your plans. May we shout for joy over your salvation in the name of our God. Set up our banners. May the Lord fulfill all your petitions. Now I know that the Lord saves his anointed. He will answer him from his holy heaven with the saving might of his right hand. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. They collapse and fall, but we rise and stand upright. O Lord, save the King. May he answer us when we call. Now let's go into this word to break it down. Psalm 20 verse 1. May the Lord answer you in the day of trouble. May the name of the God of Jacob protect you. This means that there's a petition for a divine intervention and a protection. Acknowledges God's power to save and his readiness to help in times of distress. And we apply this in our lives by being reminded to call upon the Lord in difficulties, trusting his ability to shield us. And of course, reference this by looking at Psalms, the 46th chapter, the first verse. God is our refuge and strength, our very present help in trouble. And Psalms 22:22 verse. May he send you help from the sanctuary and give you support from Zion. Meaning the sanctuary in Zion symbolizes God's presence and the collective support of his people. This verse prays for divine assistance and communal support. And how do we apply this to our life? We should seek and offer support within our faith. Communities recognizing the strength found in unity. And we cross-reference this in Psalm, the 134th chapter, the 3rd verse. May the Lord bless you from Zion, he who made heavens and earth. Psalm 23. May he remember all your offerings and regards with favor your burnt sacrifices. Salah. Meaning this verse emphasizes the importance of sincere worship and sacrifice, praying that these acts are accepted by God. How do we apply this? Our worship and sacrifice should come from the heart, aiming to please God and acknowledge his sovereignty. And we can cross-reference this by going to Hebrews, the 13th chapter, the 15th and 16th verse. Through him, then let us continually offer up a sacrifice of praise to God. In Psalm 24, may he grant your heart's desires and fulfill all your plans. Meaning, this is a prayer for the fulfillment of personal aspirations that align with God's will. How do we apply it? We are encouraged to align our desires with God's will, trusting him to fulfill our righteous plans. We of course reference this in Psalm 37:4. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Psalm 25. May we shout for joy over your salvation, and in the name of God, our God, set up our banners. May the Lord fulfill all your petitions. This verse expresses communal celebration over God's deliverance and acknowledgement of his power in achieving victory. And how do we apply it to our life? We are called to rejoice together in God's blessings and support others' prayers. And of course, reference this in Psalm 60, verse 4. You have given a banner to those who fear you, that it may be displayed because of the truth. And we look at Psalm 20, chapter 6 verse. Now I know that the Lord saves his anointed. He will answer him from his holy heaven with the saving might of his right hand. Meaning, this verse declares a confident assurance in God's salvation for his chosen ones. It speaks to God's sovereign power to protect and save, emphasizing his heavenly intervention. How do we apply this? We are reminded of the power of faith and the certainty that God hears and responds to the prayers of his faithful. Our confidence should rest not in human strength, but in God's divine salvation. And we can look at Psalms 28:8. The Lord is the strength of his people. He is the saving refuge of his anointed. And in Psalms 27. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. This verse contrasts the reliance on material and military might with trust in God. It highlights the futility of placing confidence in worldly power over divine providence. Now we apply this. In our lives, this calls us to evaluate where our trust lies. Are we depending on our own resources and abilities, or are we placing our trust in God? We cross-reference this with Isaiah 31:1. Woe to those who go down to Egypt for help and rely on horses, who trust in chariots because they are many, and are in horsemen because they are very strong, but do not look to the holy ones of Israel or consult the Lord. Psalm 28, they collapse and fall, but wise and stand upright. This verse illustrates the outcome of misplaced trust. Those who rely on their own strength or worldly powers ultimately fail, while those who trust in the Lord remain resilient and steadfast. How do we apply this? Encourage the steadfastness in faith, especially in the face of adversity, trusting that with God's support we can overcome any challenge. And of course, reference this with Proverbs 24:16. For the righteous fall 7 times and rise again, but the wicked stumble in times of calamity. And Psalm 29. O Lord, save the king. May he answer us when we call. The psalm concludes with a direct plea for the king's salvation and responsiveness to the people's cause, symbolizing a prayer for godly leadership and divine favor towards the nation's rulers. How do we apply this? This verse reminds us to pray for our leaders that they may be guided by divine wisdom and lead with justice and integrity, and also reaffirms our reliance on God to hear and answer prayers. And of course, reference this verse in 1 Timothy, the 2nd chapter, the 1st and 2nd verse. First of all, then I urge that supplication, prayers, and intercessions and thanksgiving be made for all people, for kings and all who are in high positions, that may lead a peaceful and quiet life, godly and dignified in every way. Psalm 20 as a whole encapsulates a heartfelt prayer for deliverance, protection, and blessings, emphasizing the importance of placing our trust and hope in God rather than in the transient and unreliable strengths of the world. By leaning on divine support and seeking God's favor, for we are assured of his steadfast love and salvation. This psalm encourages believers to maintain their faith, God's power, and providence, reminding us of the ultimate victory found in his righteous hand. And I pray that today's song will bless your heart today. Have a blessed day, brothers and sisters.